Hello, hello, hello. This is Danny Savas with Unleash Consulting and your best boss, Take Five, where we take 5 minutes or so to talk about a particularly compelling, interesting topic that occurs for you as a leader and a manager, and how you can best tackle that, deal with it, think about it, work with your team through it. Um, we started a series of 4 Take Fives. The first one was the last one that hopefully you got to see, where we talked about the importance of scenario planning. We're going to continue with the theme of strategizing and planning, the importance of strategizing and planning. Today, where we're going to be talking about another aspect of strategizing and planning. That's actually one of my favorite hacks, one of my favorite things to do with a team when you're trying to think through what is possible for us as we strategize and plan. And it is called second order thinking. So second order thinking, have you ever made a decision that seemed brilliant on Monday but turned into a disaster by Friday? That's what happens when we skip second order thinking. The difference between good leaders and great leaders isn't intelligence. It's their ability to see around corners. So let me show you how in the next few minutes. So I want to introduce you to 3 different ways of thinking about second order thinking, which is the thinking that happens behind the primary thinking, or that needs to happen behind the primary thinking, that can best prepare us for what comes around the corner as we're strategizing and planning. So here are 3 things that you can do to really engage with second order thinking. Number 1, beyond the immediate. Train yourself to ask, and then what? After every major decision, to uncover hidden consequences that most leaders miss. So again, train yourself to ask, and then what? Have your folks do that. Have your team do that as well. Constantly building on each other's ideas, but always pushing, and then what? And then what? Number 2, think about developing a simple matrix that you can use to really guide your second order thinking. A simple 2 by 2 matrix to graph both the immediate and the secondary impacts of decisions against short and long-term timeframes. So again, think about developing a 2 by 2 grid to map both immediate and secondary impacts against both short and long-term timeframes. I love 2 by 2 matrices when we're making decisions and we're working through things. We say these are 2 things that are possible, and here are 2 other things that are possible, and how do those combine with 4 possible outcomes, and of course the iterations between the 4. Number 3 is the 10-10-10 rule. And again, one of my favorites. I love this idea. I've used it with my staffs in the past, and worked really, really well. This is where you evaluate decisions by asking how they'll affect you in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years to ensure strategic alignment. The 10-10-10 rule. And maybe you think of it a little bit differently, but it's a great way of really disciplining yourself to think about the immediate future, the short-term future, and the long-term future. 10 minutes, 10 months, 10 years from now, what will happen? The 10-10-10 rule. All right, great. So how I want you to start thinking about using second order thinking along with these hacks is I want you to start thinking about something called a decision pre-mortem. A decision pre-mortem is before finalizing any significant decision, gather key stakeholders for a 15-minute exercise. Ask, it's 6 months from now, and this decision has failed spectacularly. What happened? This reveals potential second-order consequences your team might otherwise miss. And a second way that you can immediately apply this way of thinking along with decision pre-mortem is something called stakeholder impact mapping. So I want you to create a 1-page document, a simple 1-page document, listing all your stakeholders, including customers, team members, partners, etc., and write down how your decision might affect each group beyond the obvious first impacts. Use this as a checklist before finalizing any strategic move. So in this way, we're really, again, we're scaffolding around our success when we start to map out and understand what might happen beyond the obvious. So Take that to heart. Start working with second order thinking right away. And you'll find it'll make an amazing difference in how you strategize and plan, not only for the long term, but also the short term and the medium term. All right, this is Danny Savas with Unleash Consulting and your Best Boss Take 5. We'll see you next time where we are going to be talking about something called the grip model, a great way of strategizing. All right, take good care. Bye now.